guys. Welcome back to the Walleye Files. This week, we've got a great show for you. We are coming to you from, obviously, Two Rivers, Wisconsin, Mankato,
Southern Minnesota
Minnesota.
over
Yep,
here.
Southern Minnesota. And we are bringing to you one of the best young anglers on the National Walleye Tour. He is one of the hottest anglers in America as far as walleye fishing. The 2021 National Walleye Tour champion on Otter Tail Lake, 2024 AIM champion on Lake Sakakawea, 2024 winner on Green Bay, and a three-time now, because last weekend he did it again, three-time AIM winner, Eric McQuoid. We're going to have some great conversation, Jake.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to listen to how he breaks down water, and he's definitely a step above a lot of anglers. So I'm interested to see how his process. And I got a bone to pick with him too. He was a Minnesota kid, and now he's a trader and lives over by you. So
Yeah, he only lives about 25 minutes from my house. He's actually had a beverage or two at my place once or twice, and just a great dude. Eric, I started to get to know him a little bit in 2021. We started to kind of talk a little bit. I think he moved here in 21 or 22. And yeah, I think he moved here in 2022. Like I said, he'd stopped over once or twice here, and obviously I see him at enough tournaments. Just a good dude, just a great dude, great family. His dad Kevin's awesome guy. So yeah, super excited. I've been waiting for this one for a little while. He's been super busy. He was at the Classic a few weeks ago. He started a business. He started guiding. So I really think jumping in with Eric today is gonna shed some light on why he's so successful.
I hope so, because I need some of that.
Yeah, we all do. We all do. Speaking of successful, we would not be successful without our amazing sponsors. Of course, Striker Brands, one of the best, and I would say the best clothing company in the business. They are amazing. Whether it's hats, shirts, jackets, suits like the Apex suit, the Denali insulated rain gear, that we just got. I just got a Denali suit. We've got the Vortex suit that we need to show off, actually.
We do.
Yeah, amazing products by Stryker and great people. Lake Effect Lures, Matt and Phil and Eric and all the people at Lake Effect, they treat us awesome. We have conversations with them quite often about baits and development of baits, and
And
super innovative
we
people.
do have a little teaser. There's some new baits coming out pretty
Yeah,
quick.
there are some new baits coming out super quick. You know, uh, like I said, innovative minds, super nice people, super excited to film some content with them soon. And last, but of course not least, Walleye Nation Creations, creator of the Death Jig, the Shaky Shad, the Rip and Glide, and so many other amazing baits. The guys over at Walleye Nation Creations have treated us really awesome. Really appreciate them, and everybody else. Of course, we want to say thanks to everybody for watching. We appreciate all the clicks, all the views, and if you guys like what you see, don't forget to like and follow.
Awesome. Should we get into it, Brandon?
Let's do this, man.
Let's do it.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Walleye Files. Brandon Ruffalo, Jake Donchie, and of course Eric McQuoid. Eric, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Yeah, it's been a fun year so far.
Yeah, one tournament in, you got a W. I guess we're gonna jump right in. I want to ask you about it because you and your girl crushed it right away, and you guys have fished tournaments together before, right?
Yeah, we've done probably 3 or 4 aims now, and a couple other of the local series here on Green Bay. This will be our second win together. Our first one came probably 12 years ago in a little salmon derby out of Sturgeon Bay, but
That's awesome.
The first real species.
That's awesome.
My girl says I'm too intense while I'm in the boat, so she won't fish a tournament with me.
Yeah, Nicole and I fished the Sheboygan Walleye Club events and the National Team Championship together just about every year. We're not fishing the NTC this year. It's just too much travel. But we've definitely had some of our worst moments and best moments in a boat together. So it can be challenging. What were you looking for? Like, you cracked 43 pounds. There were a lot of tough. Dude, it's been tough. Like, it's not typical pre-spawn or pre to post-spawn transition time Green Bay, like they've been a little difficult. What were you
Yep.
seeing? What were you looking for?
Honestly, I wasn't expecting that at all. We just, especially after all that rain and snow and wind we had the weekend before, everything was super dirty, and it actually cooled off about 4 degrees throughout the week. So Thursday, I told her to stay home because it wasn't good weather, and I just went and drove around her entire boundary just looking for the warmest water that wasn't quite so dirty. Like U Bay, everybody likes fishing U Bay, and that was just a mud hole. You could see probably 2-3 inches at times, and I decided early on we're going to stay out of that and went and found some clean water that was still probably 40 degrees on Thursday, and then by game day it was 42 to pushing 43 in the afternoon.
Can you walk us through that day a little bit? Like, like a lot of times, like, because it's a catch, record, and release, right? AIM event. So, like, did you have like any big ones right off the bat that kind of set you up for the day, or was it kind of just weeding through some of the smaller ones?
Yeah, so we started off pretty quick. We got into the spot, saw the water was the same color, same temperature, everything else. I got excited right away. We put the trolling motor and live scope in the water, and there was just lights out right away as far as seeing fish anyway. Got a 24 and a half or somewhere in there in the first probably half an hour, and then I actually lost a couple, which made the day kind of start off on a hard note. But that's tournament fishing. Made a little move after that, just up another quarter mile, kind of where I was fishing. There's big pods of carp, and then you get into the different schools of walleyes. And the day before it was probably a half mile of carp or a quarter mile of carp, so I knew just to jump up on the pad and get across those, get back into the right species, and set back down. And it's all practice for a fish. It's all pre-spawn fish, and I think that water warmed up so fast that the first wave or first migration of fish actually spawned. Because come game day, everything was post-spawn for us besides like one. And I think it was just a wave of the pole spawners coming out to put the power poles down because we're up so shallow. And I think in 10 casts, I had 4 of our weight fish that were 26 3/4, 28 and a half, 28, and 26 3/4. It was one of those right place, right time type of deals.
Yeah,
You
it's
seem to
crazy.
find yourself in those spots a lot.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know how it keeps working, but I'm just going to ride the train as long as I can because I know the train's going to stop pretty soon.
I don't think it's going to stop that soon, dude. I mean, so in our intro, I talked about a little bit of your accomplishments. Obviously, 2021 National Walleye Tour Championship. You won that on Otter Tail. You and I were messaging back and forth for that tournament, which was cool to see you win. You won twice last year between the National Tour Walleye Tour and the AIM Championship. Multiple time regular AIM event winner. You're as consistent as anybody on the tour. Why the heck is that? Like I know I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions.
Why are you so good, Eric?
Well, and it's true. Like I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions about it, and you might not have answers for it. But like I don't know if it's confidence, if it's mindset, if it's obviously it's partially ability. But why? Like why on earth have you taken my lunch money so many times?
I couldn't really tell you why. It's a lot of it was right away that first year, right when Lionscope came out, and I got to play with Ben Teets when I was a co-angler in 2020. And from that one day of using it with him, it was all right. This is the next best thing, and I got to get it in my boat and just learn it because it's it was just.
Is that an LVS 32, Eric?
Yeah, I was a 32 at that point. Yep. Yeah, and so I put that on the boat in 2021, just on a PVC pipe that I made at home for about $10, and just basically rolled that throughout the season. Yeah, I think to contribute to the success, it's between that, just trying to get as good as I can with that, and just having time on the water. And then learning new locations, but using your same confidence baits no matter where we go, whether it's a river or there's a lake, clean water, dirty water. Yeah.
You want to throw a little something towards us? What your confidence baits are?
Last year, if you asked anyone in top 5 of the Angler of the Year points who did well all year, it was just a jig and crawler. It couldn't get any more simple than that, and it just works.
Absolutely. So I wanted to ask you actually about a couple things, the Otter Tail event and also the Green Bay event, but we'll start with Otter Tail. So I was there for that one, and that was kind of a weird event a little bit. You had really, really low water, super clear water. That body of water is also not really known for a great, midday bite. It's, really good low light hours. Can you walk us through a little bit of, your day during that championship?
Yeah, it was. That was a long time ago now.
It was a long time ago, but it's a big moment.
Yep. Yeah, it's stuck in my brain somewhere. Yeah, that was my first time ever on Otter Tail, even though it was fairly close to where I grew up at. I'm Mille there. We're teamed up with Drake Hurd for that one, and since then, and he lives about a half hour, 45 minutes away, so he has a lot of history there, and kind of was telling us what we should be doing, what works throughout the years, and my practice just honestly sucked. I had like 7 walleyes in 5 days of practice or 6 days of practice, and just wasn't working for me. So I went back to a confidence bait that a buddy put me on from college, and just kind of went fishing. But the first day was tougher. I think we started off with like an 18.5 or something, which was nice, and then it just kind of petered out and went out to a spot that I marked a couple big ones in practice. Just there was a big weed line that came down to a point, and then it just fell off into super deep water. I knew that something had to come up there midday to feed, and I pulled in there and got I don't remember what they are now, but it was two giant overs that put us had a good bag there day one. I think it was just over 16 pounds, but one of those big ones just choked that hyper rattle and died on me. But yeah,
that was a cool event.
Yeah,
and not only that, you burst onto the scene in that event. Tom Wynn really burst onto the scene in that event. Tom had a great tournament. So yeah, that was a really cool event.
Yeah, it was kind of the breaking of the new era for
it definitely
what
was.
the walleye see look like now.
Yep. Yeah,
Emergence of live scope a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. It was we used it all season, and then just it didn't click until that event really, or even I guess Hawaii the week or the month before we used it a lot. That was a lot of just deep jig wrapping there, like 30 to 50 feet of water. It was hard to see that deep of water and watch a little bait go down on an 9-inch screen. But
now everybody's got 16 inch and bigger screens.
Yeah, now it's a TV monitor on the front and pretty easy to see anything.
So before we move on, the Green Bay event, that last year was one of the toughest events I've ever seen. A lot of guys zeroed, a lot of guys weighed 1 fish. What set you apart on that body of water last year? Like, what were you seeing in practice that had you, choose the spots that you did?
So that week it was definitely the toughest I've ever seen the bay. It's always tough in June, which makes it more fun for a tournament at times. Just kind of sets people apart and gives you, I guess, tougher days on the water. But practice I started like 3 days early than anyone else because it was right in the backyard here, so I could do that. And I think every day I caught 1 fish, which I was feeling really good about after talking to other people and just knowing how tough it was. I was one of the early guys that ran all the way up to Big Bay that day that there's a small bar tournament up there, and we just clobbered them up there. I think I had probably 10 or 15 fish that day, and it was like, this is where all the fish are in the whole bay, and they were all hungry. And then the last couple of days, I just decided I better go down south further just in case. I have Big Bay is just a backup spot at that point, or there's fish there to be caught. and just started running memories that they should start where the migrate, or I feel like the migration should have been at, trying to find some of that warmer water that the alewives are moving out of, and um, yeah, it got the day before the tournament, pulled into one of the spots, and I had like 27 pounds or something and about 10 casts. I was like, all right, I guess I'm coming here tomorrow.
Yeah, that area you guys started in, I fished like a quarter mile from that my first day of pre-fish, and I saw a fish. Like I physically saw like a 29-incher. We lost one good bite, and I was like, okay, I feel good about this. Nobody on our whole team ever went back there in practice. And that was one of those deals where the wind kicked out of the north. Like all the stars aligned for that area on day one for sure. And everybody that was running way north, I mean, the conditions were not what they were supposed to be.
No.
And I got up past Cedar River, and I went, oh man, I don't want to go another 45 miles of this.
Yep.
And I fished some memories in Cedar River all day and zeroed. And it was one of those things where you look back, and I heard all you guys were in early, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. It's one of those places that it's like, God, it just makes all the sense where those fish were, why they were there.
Yep.
And
yeah, I think I checked that spot probably 4 times throughout the week, and they were just never there until that day before. And it's like, all right, should be good. And then once we got a takeoff there and that wind was blowing like it was, I was like, all right, that's gonna be lights out there when I get there.
And yeah, obviously it was the 4. You guys were first through 4th in
That's
at like
what I was
10
just gonna
a.m.
say.
Yep. Yeah, mine was. So I only had 1 fish there, which I was kind of mad about because I pulled in. Dad was boat 1, so I didn't know that he already had a 7-pounder in the box. And then I think Drake and Danny pulled in behind me, or Drake was right in front of me because it went Drake, me, Danny drifting down this point. Drake catches one. I lose at 8.5 at the side of the boat. Danny catches one. Well, we all go back up. Drake catches one. Danny catches one. We all go back up. Drake catches one. Danny catches one. I'm like, what the heck? I think my co-editor got 1 7-pounder there, and then we pulled the plug and started running memories and pull up on the. I don't remember where we went first, but a couple spots down the line, and I was like, oh, there's a good one, and threw at that one, and it ate like it was supposed to, and threw at the next one I saw, and that one ate like it was supposed to, like it was middle of August, and the fish are hungry, and that was it.
It was cool. It was cool. I mean, I was just excited on day 2 to catch a 5-pounder or 4-pounder or whatever I caught, just because I know I needed some points. But it was cool coming in because I had no idea that what you did on day 2. And I looked at you as I'm driving past you. I said, "You got it," and you're like, "I think so. It's gonna be close." And that was one of those moments where I was like, "Oh yes, that's." I didn't want. I mean, there's no bad blood between me or anybody else, but I wanted to see you win. That was really cool. That's because it's kind of home now. Your family's all there. Your dad's there. Kind of sucked because you weighed in directly after me, so it made me look real bad. But it was just special to see you win on the bay. And like I said, in front of your family, in front of your friends, and you had a big day. Day 2 was cool.
Yeah, thank you. It was close, definitely closer, or I guess not as close as I thought it was going to be. I didn't weigh any of my fish that second day, so I had no idea what I had. But it was definitely a fun moment having we're good buddies with Danny Woodkey, so he was on stage when it all went down. And I was really hoping Dad would have weighed 1 fish so he could have been up there at the last, because I don't know if either one of us could have held it together at that point. But
right.
Yeah, that would have been cool, man.
Yeah.
That would have been really cool. I saw one of the funniest things that day. So Danny's boy was standing down on the dock, and Corey Springle came in, and he says, "Corey, did you get him?" And he goes, "Nope, 0." And he just goes, "Again?" Just like rubbing salt in his wounds. It was like, oh no.
Landon's one of the most fun kids to ever talk to, because he'll hold a conversation like he's a 35-year-old pro and everything else, and he's definitely going to take all of our money here in a couple of years.
Absolutely. If he's anything like his dad, he's going to be an absolute stud.
Yep.
So let's transition. What, um, our industry as far as tournament fishing, there's been a lot of, I want to say scrutiny, a lot of bitching, to be lack of a better term, lately. And I think a lot of it stands with forward-facing sonar. There's some other things, obviously, but we're gonna try to stay positive. We're gonna try to stay positive. How can we improve what we got going on? Where do you see us where we're at now, and where we could be or where we should be in a handful of years?
Um, I think there's only one way that we need to go, and that's definitely up from here. I don't know if it's definitely we need to get with the times more and figure out how we can do live camera stuff, have some sort of better media for all of us. I know Robert Cardenas does a great job with what he does up for us on the NWT and posting us there. I think it's just going to take someone stepping up, and I don't think it's a new circuit, but something just has to change in that aspect and get more of the word out and behind us. I think going to like an artificial site tournaments just to get better sponsors behind us would be a good start too. Just because it's hard to have big paying sponsors come into all these tournaments that, like I said before, just jig and crawler is all you need for anywhere we go, and there's not too many jig or crawler companies that are willing to pay top dollar.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And there's a reason, like when you see like, the bass circuit, they have all the money in the world to throw at the series, it seems like anyway. And a lot of that is these big bait companies are willing to throw more money at them because they're going to sell more baits because of it. But yeah, like you said, like if you're throwing big creek chubs or crawlers or, minnows, whatever it is, like nobody's going to get behind that. It's just the reality of it.
Yep.
Well, I think,
Yeah,
and I think we need to market ourselves better between the anglers, the series, everything. I think, you see the bass guys. Everybody's got a YouTube channel. Everybody's got a camera hopping in their boat and filming them for a day. And I'm not saying that's something we have to do because that's expensive, right? That all costs money. But I think there's ways that we can improve, like you said, live cameras in a boat. If you put 3 live cameras in NWT boats, that would be monumental.
Yep. Just 3.
Yep. Yeah, I was even thinking even just have us throw our camera or our phones up on our windshields or something.
A GoPro, something.
It's not great, but it's a start. I know Drake's been playing with that a lot, trying to do more live feed stuff on his Facebook page and stuff for day 2. Yeah,
that'd be really cool. I think you're going to see a lot more people following along if they can tune in and see you, throwing, and they can see exactly what you're using, which that is, I guess, kind of a, I don't know if you could say downfall, but like, going into day 2, a lot of these guys are going to see exactly what you're throwing,
and it's I think as walleye anglers, we're one of the most secretive people out there. That you go to the bass world and they tell you exactly what they're doing right on camera. They'll tell you before even takeoff what they're going to be doing the whole day. And as walleye guys, it's don't even look at my boat and I'll beat you up if you do.
Yeah, and I'm going to pull trolling rods out. And, when I'm not trolling.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some people that are super secretive, and I think, man, you don't think you need to be jigging a crawler. I'm throwing a death jig. I'm pulling crankbaits. Like, it's not that crazy. This is not that. There's some people that do some off the wall things, and I think those off the wall things are starting to catch some fish, for sure. And we actually just had Tom Kimos on. He will air before this one, so everybody will see him talk about pitching a football head jig under a bridge or the spinner bait thing on Oahe. How they help develop that. That's just, those are things that are super innovative that I think if you're thinking off the wall and it works, it's crazy. But for the most part, I don't feel that all of us, for the most part, do anything super crazy.
Yeah, definitely not. But that's one of the things I think I've had good success in so far is every time I go out in the morning for pre-fishing or something, I tell myself, what stupid thing can I go out and try today and just see if it works? I might catch a good one and I might not catch a single fish that day. And I think that's helped me a lot here too.
Would
Did you
any of those?
go ahead,
Sorry,
Brady?
am I cutting you off, Jake? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
What any of those ones that just off the wall harebrained ideas that just totally crushed it?
That's what I
Well,
was going to ask.
there's been a couple. It's not really. Some of it's bait wise. Most of it's just areas. Like we go back to all the same venues or different same lakes and everything. And it's like, well, we all fish the same spots. Let's go try this thing over here that no one's ever tried before. That's how we did well a couple years ago, and I won one of the aims was jigging the mud on Green Bay. No one ever jigs the mud on the bay. And that was just one thing that I thought of in practice, and then we just killed them for that aim tournament, and then it carried on over to the following week for the NWT.
Yeah, you guys all took top 10s, didn't you?
Yeah, I think we were 4th, 5th, and 9th or something like that. So everyone's trolling around us, wondering what the heck we're doing. You're not supposed to be jigging here.
And they just keep seeing a camera flash every couple minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, for the aim, I was trying to hide it still, so I went way far away from everybody to do it, and I probably should have stayed there for the NWT, but those fish moved on me like they usually do.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, like those bites that, you're jigging the mud or whatever, it makes you wonder how many of those bites are out there yet that just have gone unnoticed or untouched or unfound. Like, it's just insane to me,
There's got to be a bunch of them, especially with how much water these certain places have, like whether it's the Bay or Sakakawea or anywhere.
It really makes you wonder too, like with live scope, back in the day, you weren't pitching over a basin, you'd be in 50 feet, like that bite is, relatively new to me anyway, for sure. But like without live scope, we would have never been doing that.
Yeah, you never knew those fish were out there.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we knew there were some just from trolling it, but besides a couple of guys that would go stand around with their 2D and throw it back, but you never know how high those fish are or where your bait actually lands. And one thing we always did in Mille Lacs was power corking out there with bobbers, and you just drive around with 2D, wait till you see one, throw 2 bobbers out the back, and wait for it to go down.
So
that's
fun.
A whole different world now too with live scope.
Yes, it is.
So you talked about practice, about going checking new things in practice. Can you take us through like your regimen for practice? Like when you show up at a body of water, say you've got 5 days, how are you, obviously you have a team, your dad, Drake Hurd. I think Stacy Forsberg was with you guys a little bit too last couple of years. How do you guys split up and break down water?
For the most part, we kind of split the lake in different parts that we want to go check from what we've heard from people or see online and just looking at the lake maps and stuff. Drake and I will usually be the first ones to go live scope some crazy stuff, and then Dad will do more of the old school. And if we need him to go troll or fish the old ways, that's usually in his category. But usually we tell him he needs 40 pounds in like 20 minutes, otherwise we're not trolling. Which usually doesn't happen, but yeah, the first day is kind of just running around, graphing where the different rocks and stuff are, or weeds, or whatever we're looking for. I guess we don't really have a big game plan besides trying new stuff. Just because everyone does the same things these days, we try to find new areas that are usually a lot further away than we want to run. But yeah.
Do you guys sit down with a map every night and pick things apart? What are those conversations like?
Yeah, we definitely try to, when we remember to bring a map anyway. Others are sitting around one of our phones trying to see and talk, and usually it's just telling each other what we caught them on, what we saw, what we were feeling, trying to figure out something new that we could try again, and how we can duplicate one person's success across the board. Just so we don't have to go fish on top of each other.
Yeah, and you guys are as successful of a team as just about any other team. I mean, you guys, multiple Angler of the Years, multiple wins. You guys are incredibly successful anglers, incredibly accomplished anglers. I'd love to I would love to see what those conversations are like what the hard questions for those conversations are like, because I know what they're like in our house, when we travel together. Um, but I just, with a lot more success and a lot more time on the water like you guys have, it's something that I would love to. Can you talk about any of those?
Yeah,
It's a
I
tough
can't really
question,
think
but
of any like off the top of my head because usually they're not as professional as you think they are. We're have a couple cocktails and you're just joking around the whole time. Um, we just try to keep it fun. Mainly, it's at the end of the day, it's supposed to be fun, and if we're not having fun, we shouldn't be here anymore. Um, yeah,
So I know, like myself, like in practice, usually the first day, like I don't even wet a line, like
yeah,
probably 80% of the time. Do you guys kind of go by that rule a little bit, or is it more
definitely a
like we're
little
just
bit.
gonna
Like
jump right in?
it's it definitely used to be more like my first year on tour before we really started the live scoping thing. Nowadays, we just go drop our trolling motor in and put the trolling motor on 7 or 8 and run around a reef or a weed patch or whatever else, and we'll live scope, try to catch a fish or two just to see if they're walleyes, see what kind of marks we're seeing. And then that's really changed the game too for later in the week when we do find good areas. We don't have to go back and try to catch a big one and sting one for the tournament day. We can just go look, make sure they're there. Maybe throw at one to get it to chase, but just crank it away before it can eat, just so we can see the right shape and everything. Um,
Yeah, last year I did that on last day of practice. I told myself I was gonna take one cast before the meeting, and I caught a 10 pound. It was like 9.5, but I was like,
yep.
God dang it, man.
we told you not to.
Yeah,
Just to be
that's
I
what
know, I
fair,
was,
happens too.
just to be fair, I
I know.
definitely told you not to.
Yeah, it was so stupid too, because my buddy that was traveling with me, it was like one of those split second decisions where like I wanted to see if it would still react to the bait as it's dropping, and I saw it turn and look up at it as it was falling, and I took one crack like I knew I shouldn't have, and it just annihilated it. And the second it hit the net, the guy that I was traveling with, he's like, "Oh my god, that thing's huge!" And I'm just sitting there like, he's like, "I've never seen anybody so upset about a nice fish before." I'm like, "Well, it was supposed to be tomorrow's fish, man."
Yep. Yeah, we always give ourselves grief for that, but odds are that fish isn't going to be there the next day on most occasions anyway. And we just got to keep it fun and catch a fish every once in a while.
Is
Keep the
that is
morale
that
high.
most important? Keeping it
I,
fun.
I think so. Yeah, keeping it fun, and you got to keep your confidence there too. If you haven't caught a fish in a day or something, you start getting pretty low, and you just need to go out and set the hook a couple times.
Yeah, Green Bay was a low one last year, man. I was 6 days without a fish, and I was like broken. I've never done that in my life on Green Bay.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a tough fight, man. That's one of those that we're going to be talking about for years.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I hope it's never that tough again. You know it's gonna be, but
yeah, and I mean, and it's all relative, right? Like we're gonna go to a bite somewhere, and it's gonna be like that again. Absolutely, and I think I think that's where mindset needs to take over. Like your confidence in your ability needs to be high. Like I feel like you've gone to enough places, Eric, and you are really good with live scope with your electronics, and even outside of that, you're really good. You've spent years fishing tours with your dad. Um, just that you walk onto a body of water that you're ready to go. Like you're confident that you can. Yeah, okay, I'm here to win.
yep. I think that's the biggest mindset that you need to have in tournament fishing. Because if you're gonna go there and say I'm gonna go take 30th place this week, it's a good goal if you're going for the long run. But I've always been competitive by nature, and anything I do, I want to win, and I want to win big. So I kind of just make that fit in the tournament scene too.
Yeah, there were some conversations I had last year where I was like, if I can get out of this tournament with the top 50 and you get in like 60th place and you're like, well, it wasn't quite what I wanted, but
Yep.
you're undershooting. And I think that winner's mindset is what gets you on that upper level, on that level where you and John Hoyer and Dewey are all on.
So looking forward, Eric, the first tournament of the season for the NWT is coming up. What do you see for that tournament? What do you see being like first place? Is it going to be, smaller bag like a lot of other people are thinking, or do you think it's gonna be some surprising weights coming up?
I've never been to Lake Sharp there, so I couldn't tell you a whole lot about it. From talking to Dad and a lot of other people out there, it's a lot of 10 to 15-inch fish in that system. We're going to be looking for 17, 18 inchers to fill out the bags. And then if you do get one good one, you're going to basically win the tournament on it, or do very well anyway. But I think just looking at the last few years of live scope, the winning bag has been higher in pretty much every tournament, or it seems like it anyway. I don't know if it actually has, but I think you could see one guy that just really crushes them at least one day to get the weight a little bit higher. We're looking at it, but it's going to be very similar to Chamberlain. We're looking for a teens bag, mid-teens bag, hoping for 30 pounds by the end of it.
Is there a lot of water there where you can make really long runs? I've never been out there myself, so.
Yeah, I think I want to say it's about 80 miles long or so, maybe a touch longer. Sounds like a lot of the fishing is kind of partway down, so we don't have to go to the bottom. And I don't think there's gas on that one either, so we can't. Nitro guys can probably make it just about down and back, but most of us can't do it just because our gas tank's not big enough.
Yeah, I think there's gas all the way down. Maybe I've never been to Sharp.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to find it on a map the other day for as far as gas stations, and I couldn't find one. But I'm hopefully I'm wrong, and there is one somewhere. But just to get away from the field.
I like it. So
otherwise, we can roll around 30 miles an hour and save gas to make it, but then it's 4 hours of fishing time.
Right. So give me some juice here. Give me some, because you still are as good as anyone or better for sure. Give me some juice as far as you show up to Green Bay or you show up to Ottertail. Like some of these tournaments where you've had a win and it just clicks. Like when it clicks, what are you looking for? What all comes together?
Yeah. So like Ottertail is definitely different for me. So that was a bad pre-fish. So you only have a couple spots to go. And it just kind of gets you that mindset that you have to go grind out these couple spots and do well there. Green Bay was, I guess, similar because you didn't have very many spots to go to that you actually caught a fish throughout the week. So it made you just really focus on not knowing that you're not going to fish 100 spots that day. Just go grind out 3, 4, 5 spots and keep your bait in the water, keep the live scope in the water these days, and just look for the right marks.
Is confidence more important than making adjustments? My confidence in your program, that is. Like, I know I can throw this hair jig for 8 hours and get 5 bites.
So I say half and half on that one. Really depends on the bite itself. Like Green Bay, that's what I told myself was this bait's gonna be locked in my hand for basically all day, and they're gonna eat it at some point, or I'm not gonna do well. I've had numerous other ones the last couple of years that presentation A, B, C is not working. I'm going to go throw something I haven't thrown all week, but I have just so much confidence in it. And I was actually, I remember it like it was the one that Dewey won 2 years ago in South Dakota. But I had second place after day one, and then day two, my 3 fish that were on a shelf were gone, and I had to go scramble and grabbed a hyper rattle out of the box because that's just one of my go-to baits, and I ended up catching 3 fish in about 5 casts and on a brand new spot, brand new bait, just knowing that I'm gonna go run fast and trust my instincts at that point.
So you started a guide business, right?
Yep. Yeah, I just started here this spring.
Talk to us about it and give us a little bit of your social media stuff and how people can reach you. Because I think a lot of people are going to want to learn live scope from you.
Yeah, that's my whole goal, or one of my main goals for starting a guide business. I've seen a couple other guys do it, and um, basically, I want to be able to take guys out on the boat and show them how to use live scope more efficiently and effectively. A lot of guys have it, and they don't take the time to really learn it and learn the hows and whys. They just want the success right away. So I started.
I thought they just jumped in the boat when you had it, Eric.
I wish they would. If people knew how many fish we can see and throw at before we actually catch a fish, they would be amazed. It's not as bad as musky fishing, but it's close at times as far as number of casts at fish. But it's yeah. So I started McQuoid Charters. You can find it at McQuoidCharters.com. So I'm offering 5 and 8 hour guide trips for on the bay here. At least just to start with was on the bay. You can come hop in the boat with me. I'll have everything included. All brand new equipment and Elliott rods, everything else. And we'll go for a day of fishing.
That's awesome, man. All right, Eric, can you promote anything you got coming up? I suppose the shows are kind of wrapping up for the year, but if you got anything like that, please plug and promote that as well.
Yeah, so I'm fishing the NWT again, obviously. We leave a week from today for the first one. And then fishing the head-to-head this season. So you'll be able to watch the live cameras I think those are Wednesday mornings throughout the year. So that'd be a fun, different series that I'm looking forward to. Brandon fished it last year. And
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun, a lot of pressure, and a lot of fast-paced stuff. So.
I wish I was fishing it this year. It's just hard to get off on a lot of Wednesdays at my job.
Yeah. Yep. That part definitely makes it tough, and then Greta and I are going to do the rest of the game season too. So I told her
you might as well now.
Yeah, that's why I told her if we win this first one, we have to do the whole series. So, and she said, "Oh yeah, right."
And now she's roped in.
Yeah,
awesome.
Now she roped in your nose.
So are you doing the Wisconsin division?
Yeah, Wisconsin division. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're gonna run over and do the Mille Lacs one too, just because it's.
Well, I'll see you there.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Now you're gonna steal my lunch money.
Can you give us one, closing this out, can you give us one thing as far as anglers from the bank, weekend warriors, people who aren't nearly as experienced, or people who are experienced, like Brandon Ruffalo, who would love to learn more things from you? What's one thing that an angler can take away, can take to wherever they're fishing to make them better?
I'd say, have confidence in what you're doing, whether it's a bait, whether it's a technique. The biggest thing in this sport is having confidence in what you're doing. It really doesn't matter where you are. If you have a certain bait that works, try it, because it's amazing how often that bait will work just about anywhere in the country. Just because you like throwing it, you've perfected the cadence or whatever else you need for it, and so have confidence.
Awesome,
Eric.
Awesome. Well, Eric, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us, talk some fishing. And guys, you're gonna watch Eric win an Angler of the Year this year. He's my pick.
Thank you.
Yeah,
money on it.
I would put money on that 100%. Again, thanks for everybody for watching the Walleye Files. Like and subscribe. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify. Eric, appreciate you. We'll see you later, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Hi, guys.
See ya.